you go by Nathan.
Yeah, or Nathaniel. I'm all
Nathaniel?
three. People call me different things depending.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depending
who
if
it
they're
is.
family, friends, or enemies.
Yeah, or yeah, all of the above.
Okay.
sometimes.
So at the moment, you're a home inspector.
Yes. Yeah. So I started doing that right after my internship. The position that I want to go for at the California Governor's Office is it's called a DAPS position, Disaster Assistance Program Specialist. So they're kind of the construction experts in hazard mitigation. This is already getting confusing.
Okay,
But-
well, we can define, like, personally, that this is awesome because I've never even heard of this position or this office.
I guess I'll start from the top. Yeah, it's
let's go
called
there.
the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services. Long name. We call it CalOES. That's what you would see. You can follow them on Instagram and stuff.
So are they
I'll
dealing
learn
with the
more about it.
coronavirus right now?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of any national security risk in California, and also a big portion of it is like Cal Fire and assistance with disasters.
Okay.
So they do, tsunami warning systems in Southern California. They do wildfire things up here. And the program I was working with was called Hazard Mitigation Assistance. So what they do is anytime there's a disaster in an area that is prone to disasters, pretty much anywhere in California, we have earthquakes, that kind of thing. To minimize damage in the future, they do construction projects. So you could do seismic retrofitting on buildings. So if an area has earthquakes, you could say, okay, instead of spending a bunch of money when this disaster happens and all these buildings fall down, we can spend some money now, an investment, to protect these buildings so that the government doesn't need to step in and offer assistance later. So it's kind of a extra security.
So do you guys,
in an
so
emergency.
obviously most of these buildings are privately owned. Do you guys make these owners kind of, I guess, not remodel?
It's a grant, so it's a federal grant program. So we're pretty much giving out money.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah. So I worked on, for example, like I did a Gurneville loss avoidance study. So seeing how well our mitigation projects worked in the past. So there was a town called Gurneville, kind of in Sonoma, Napa area near a creek, and it would flood every 20 years, and every 100 years it would majorly flood and pretty much destroy the town. So instead of helping in and paying in and repairing that damage every 20 years or so, they said, okay, let's invest and raise the homes. So literally everybody's house is like 20 feet in the air. It's crazy. So they put them all on stilts.
Like today?
Yeah, now.
That's crazy.
And
So
I
the whole
think
town is like that?
Yeah. And this was in the 90s, I believe they started doing this.
That's pretty sweet,
So
dude.
since then they've had flooding, hasn't caused any damage because it flows
Right under the house?
right under the house. Yeah.
It's like, what's that vacation spot where everything's on posts and stilts?
Oh, in like
Bora
it's
Bora.
tropical. Yeah.
It looks like Bora Bora.
Yeah. Oh, I want to go there so bad. But yeah, it's the Bora Bora in Napa. Basically.
Okay.
It's very odd. Yeah, so that's the kind of projects that hazard mitigation could be anything like flooding, earthquakes, fire, clearing debris so that it doesn't burn, anything you can think of that could be a disaster. There's a project that you could do to mitigate the damage.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
So yeah, the position that sorry, go ahead.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's all you, man.
Yeah, so the DAPS position that I want to work for requires 5 years of construction experience. You need to know how framing in a house works, housing code. You need to kind of put the tool bags on and see how much time it'll take. You need to do estimates, because you're contracting these jobs out. You want to make sure it's a fair price. So I'm working towards that now. I'm about 3 years down, and home inspecting is really helping me with that a lot because I'm, crawling under a house. I'm going on the roof. I'm seeing everything. I'm testing the electricity. I'm testing the plumbing, finding dry rot, anything. And it, kind of has to do with every aspect of building a home.
Okay, so you're focused more residential or
yeah, pretty much completely. We do some commercial, but yeah, mostly homes. It's anytime a house changes hands, a property's,
Okay, so like you're like, hey, I'm buying a new house. Let's check it out, see if everything's okay with it.
Yeah. So if you're buying a new home, you'd say we need a home inspection because what if there's $20,000 worth of damage?
We don't know.
And we're buying this home. Yeah. So
asbestos in the attic.
Exactly. Or hey, you have termites and they ate half of your wall. And
can't see behind the drywall.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then your house could fall down. Or if there's an earthquake and termites ate half the wood in your house, it's coming down on your head.
Okay.
So anytime a home changes hands, it's mandated that they have a home inspection to upkeep properties. If not, Sacramento would just be falling apart.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes home inspectors are a pain in the neck.
I know.
But like, looking at it from a different point of view, you're like, dude, if it wasn't for inspectors, home builders would build janky stuff, just trying to make a buck. And
yeah, it's just maintenance too. It's like you could probably do a home inspection not every 10 years, later, but the upkeep is important. It might cost you $100 or whatever to have your home inspected, but yeah, anytime it changes hands, it is a good thing that it's checked out so that it doesn't turn into a gigantic problem later and they have to maybe demolish the home. It's just more cost for everyone, so it's good to upkeep it. But I know what you mean. Inspectors can be really bad. They'll go poke a piece of the house and be like, yeah, you need to change the whole wall. Some people are slimy. And also a lot of companies... no
worries.
A lot of companies pay commission to home inspectors. So they kind of have an incentive.
So he's a salesman.
Exactly. Yeah. That's not how it works where I'm working now. We're a really small company. So I'm mostly kind of learning right now and doing the construction after building that base. But yeah, I am licensed, so I'm a home inspector, I guess.
That's awesome.
Fun, yeah.
See, the cool thing about this is, like, some people think that, hey, I got my bags on. I have to put in my 30 years with my bags. I'm gonna destroy my life, and that's what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, no. I've since the beginning, I was like, okay, I can do construction while I'm young, and actually, I really enjoy it because it's a workout while you work. I get to go see mansions, and then sometimes I'm working in the ghetto. Sometimes I get to see kind of all over Sacramento, different neighborhoods. And yeah, it's fun. I've worked on big construction jobs in the Bay Area. I grew up in Fairfield, so I'd work in San Francisco when I was going to community college out there. And it's completely different. You're kind of going to the same place every day, doing the same thing.
Right.
So this is really unique as far as construction goes because it's kind of a new job. Sometimes every day, sometimes every week, you might get a bigger one, but yeah.
Different people,
different places. Yeah.
So you talked about the government's office and what I want to kind of show our listeners or viewers, the fact that, when you're in construction, you can take your experience kind of like you're working now to and leverage it to something else.
Exactly.
You don't have to break your back for your entire life.
Exactly.
What is the position again that you're applying to?
It's a DAPS, DAPS, Disaster Assistance Program Specialist. There's so many acronyms.
Okay.
It gets confusing.
So how did you find them? I've never even heard of this. How did you find this and why did you decide for this to be your field?
Yeah. So, right after I graduated, I knew I wanted to do some kind of internship, just get out there right after I finished so that I don't slack off kind of thing. I gotta do something right after at least.
Yeah.
So my mom works for the county of Napa and she said, during the fires there, she worked with some people at this office. So she said, you should look into California Governor's Office of Emergency Services. She said they worked with us. They were great. They were on it. And it's a cool program. So I got that in. I wouldn't have even known about it.
That's super cool.
Nobody knows about this office. Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, I've heard like every time there's a disaster, whoever the president is at that time, we're giving you billions of dollars.
Yeah. So California gets a huge grants package.
Okay.
Huge. We get the largest in the country by far. Probably due to the wildfires.
Yeah.
Tremendous amount of damage. I totally.
You kind of found out about the office or about the program through your mom.
She works in the government, so yeah. If you know someone in the government, but we were talking about how you can start off doing something like construction and you don't have to break your back and do it forever. You can use it as a stepping stone. So I was going to say, you can, even if you do really anything, there's a government job for it. I think people would be surprised. And there's a website. I don't know what it is right now.
Something.gov.
Yeah, cal.gov, something like Cal Careers, I think. Yeah, .gov. You can hop on there, put in a region, wherever you live, just look at government jobs and you'd be amazed. They have jobs where you can work for Parks and Rec and travel between, national parks in California and teach lessons and make good money doing it.
Especially now, if they're raising taxes, that means there's going to be more government jobs.
Oh yeah. And there's so many different.
So might as well go get paid the good bucks if you're paying the taxes for them.
Yeah. If you're a janitor, you can go be a janitor for the government.
Well, dude, the Caltrans janitor with all the OT, I was actually in the news, I think last year. Caltrans janitor, he was cleaning Caltrans is like a subway station. So he was a janitor. This guy was making $150,000 a year.
Oh my God.
Because of all the OT and stuff. The most expensive janitor, I think, in the world.
Jeez. That's doctor lawyer money. That's wild.
Dude. So that's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess there's just a lot you can do. I would hop on there if you're interested in it at all. Applying for government jobs is kind of difficult. It's a long process, but once you get the template done, it's like applying anywhere on Indeed kind of thing. You have your template for an application. You can apply to 100 places in a day if you wanted to.
Okay, so you got a degree in political science, you said. Why political science, and what was kind of your goal when that was going on?
So I bounced around to a lot of things, probably like a lot of people in college. I immediately went to Long Beach State, actually, right after high school. And I was only there for 6 months. I hated it. I went there broke. I didn't know about loans. I was like, oh, I have to pay $15,000 to live here. I hated it. I had no money, and all my friends had credit cards from their parents, and they're going out to eat. Yeah. And I was sitting in the dorm starving, just like, oh, I hate my life. So I moved back home, went to community college immediately. I only went there for 6 months and I left. And then I switched to...
That was a smart choice, dude. Not everybody can humble themselves and be like...
Exactly. It was embarrassing. Everyone's like, oh, what, did you drop out? I was like, no, I just life is hard. I'm poor.
So, I don't want to get into $50,000 of loans and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I was looking at it. I couldn't even get the classes that I needed at Long Beach State for the next semester. I would have had to take only GEs. And I was like, okay, I looked at the price of taking GEs at DVC in Contra Costa County, where I ended up going to community college, and it was pretty clear what I should do. Go get a job, actually make some money instead of spending it, and get the same classes and actually more. So yeah, I moved back and did that, and then transferred to Sacramento State to finish up.
So from there, you transfer to Sac State. Is that why you're live in Sacramento now? Because you went to Sac State?
Yes, yeah. So me and my girlfriend moved out here. We her parents bought a property in Clark Andress. Sold us our home.
That's right. You said that's crazy.
Yeah.
That makes me so proud that the realtor that was on our show actually you guys bought your house through him.
No, he was great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Shout out. I think that was episode. What episode was that?
It was early on. Yeah.
12 or 13 or something. Yeah. We had a week where it was like a real dude. That's crazy. I'm still have to talk to him about that.
Yeah, he helped us out a lot. And we kind of flipped the house. We didn't do too much to it, but I did a lot of the work there. So that's kind of how I helped pay rent and stuff while I went to school.
So does political science directly tie into kind of what you're going? I'm just trying to put all the pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because it's the government, but really I was interested in politics. I thought it was really interesting. I would never want to be a politician, but it does interest me a lot, and I think that it influences the world more than, some people give it credit for. But
so your goal was always to work for the government?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you a CIA?
I know. Maybe one day. I said it's a lattice. It's a stepping stone.
Yeah. So your goal is always to work for the government.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then because your mom works for Napa, she's like, hey, we worked with this kind of, I guess, office of the government.
Yeah. I was trying to find the right agency that piqued my interest, and that was like, oh, that's something that I could be proud to do, help with disaster relief.
Right. That's cool. So you almost kind of like stumbled into this, which is super cool because I've never even heard of this, and neither have you.
Neither. Yeah.
So hopefully this kind of exposes more people. I'm sorry for the people that are applying to this job, but you will have competition now.
Oh no.
So that is sweet. Right now you're working as a home inspector. To prepare yourself, you said you need 5 years to apply for that position?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And that will be for it's kind of a higher up. It'll be a DAPS 2. Okay. So I'll make more money. I'll have more experience, and it's a faster jump to that pay grade.
Okay, that's wise.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about then your home inspecting, because crazy in middle school we did like a career project. Like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I think I still have the binder. It's like everything's about home inspector.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to be a home inspector.
That's so random. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone wanting to be a home inspector. Yeah. I didn't know what a home inspector was until about 6 months ago, actually, either.
Yeah,
and then I became one. Yeah.
So that was like my goal. I had like a whole folder of how to become one, where to go, what to do.
Was that from your parents? Like,
so growing up, I always knew I wanted to be in construction.
Okay. Yeah.
And my uncle is a realtor. My other uncle, like, I'm Slavic, Ukrainian, so most people are either trucking or construction.
Yep.
Or pizza places.
Yeah,
or
Clark.
Something.
We hired.
You're good.
Clark had some of his family come help. They were all Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Awesome. They were awesome.
So
fast.
Yeah. So growing up, like, I was always helping my uncle, somewhere on a house or something. And my dad was like, dude, go to the medical field. That's good money. You won't break your back. And so when I actually went to college, I started taking my prereqs, and I wasted 2 years prereqs in medical field. I got a job as a med tech in a retirement home.
Okay.
And I worked there for a year. I'm like, dude, I hate this. I cannot do this.
Yep.
And so in my mind, I always knew I wanted to be in construction. And so I went into construction. After that, I just quit everything, went into construction, and I'm kind of just going up, taking my stepping stones.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started with me wanting to be a home inspector. So I never became one. What is a home inspector? What do you do? We talked a little bit about it, but what's kind of the schedule if somebody's out there looking to become a home inspector?
Sure. So I started off with a company just doing construction. I was like, oh, I need some money right after college, get this job. It's a small company, and they are trying to grow. So I kind of got a really unique opportunity where they were like, we're going to put you on the fast track. You're not stupid. You can do this. Let's get it done. So it all went through my work.
Okay.
So I'm not actually sure what the process is. I wish I did. I'm sure they just go online and say home inspector class.
Yeah.
You take a course. It's kind of like driver's ed. So
there's no like 2 years in school type of thing?
No, not at all. No, I studied for about 6 months, but I did have a lot of previous knowledge coming into it.
Okay.
Because I've done this kind of work
Basic
before.
Construction.
Yeah, exactly. Or working on houses even too.
Okay.
Just knowing how a home works, that there's electrical behind the sheetrock, and just, you'd
it's
be
not
amazed.
Wireless.
Yeah,
the plugs aren't wireless.
You'd be amazed. What, people know very little about how, I've always lived in a home, have no idea how it works.
Yeah.
So, especially people our age. I forget where I was
going. The process. We're talking about the process.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. So it all went through my work, but you take a course online. It took me about 3 months, I'd say, to study. It might take you a couple tries, but you go to a building and take a test, just kind of like SATs type thing.
Okay. How did you even find, like, when I think of inspector, I'm thinking county, city inspector, and you need like 40 years of experience to apply or whatever.
Right.
Is there a bunch of like inspection companies like this around the city that you can apply to?
There are tons in Sacramento. Yeah. Yeah, just get on Indeed.com and put it in there.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but I've said that twice now. I think at least
That's
twice.
okay.
Indeed, great
Yeah.
website. Help me out.
Okay, so what is your schedule like as a home inspector?
It's Monday through Friday.
Okay.
7 to 3:30 type thing. Sometimes a little different if someone needs a late appointment or whatever.
Okay.
It's a lot of driving.
Mm-hmm.
You can do 5 inspections a day. So I could start off in West Sacramento, end up in East Sacramento, end up in Vallejo, you know.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's like you stuck in traffic a lot of the time?
Not too bad. No.
Try to schedule around that.
Vallejo was a little bit dramatic. I don't go. It's usually within 45 minutes around kind of Sacramento radius.
Okay.
But I'm not doing inspections all the time. I am doing a lot of construction too. So it's kind of split up, which I enjoy a lot. I'm never stuck doing paperwork too long or doing the same kind of thing. And also I get to see a job from start to finish. So I'll go to someone's house, poke around, check all their sinks, check under the house, make sure nothing's wrong, check all the wood on the outside, check the electrical, all those kinds of things. Write up a report. I diagram the home, walk around it, create a diagram of proportions, pacing it out. And then I go back to the office, get on Excel and write up a report, put that diagram on there, put all the findings of all the problems. Oh, this sink leaks, or you have a leak under the house, or this wood is rotted and it needs to be replaced, whatever it may be. Put the findings in order, write up that report, and then send it back to them. They approve the work. Then I put my tool bags on, go do the work for them.
Oh,
so
okay.
I see it from start to finish. I'm personally seeing these people, and I'm saying, "Hey, if you want me to fix it, I'll be here tomorrow." Kind of thing.
So you're like, okay, I really don't want to fix that. Not putting that on the report,
right? No. I have helpers. Helpers.
Okay, yeah.
So,
okay, that's actually really cool. I've never heard of an inspector that actually comes back and does the work.
Yeah, I haven't either.
That's
I've
neat.
made myself valuable in the company that I work for right now. Part of the reason why is probably because they're smaller and they're trying to grow.
And you can do both.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So that's a valuable thing because, like you said, most people don't do both.
That's pretty cool for, like you said, people that are trying to come up, kind of expose themselves to the kind of the construction part, but also the professional side, the management side of it.
And it fits in perfectly to when I work for the government, having to say, okay, to fix this home, it's going to cost $60,000, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever kind of estimating you have to do in the event of a disaster.
Money-wise, but then also time-wise, because you've done it yourself. And
is it feasible? Is it worth it to fix this home, or do we demolish it? All kinds of things. And you really have to have the tool bags on. And the technical aspect is the inspecting part. That's where you learn about, the harder trades like electrical and plumbing and all that.
Okay. So have you inspected any like fires after
fires? No, I haven't. No, not yet. No, I'm new.
Okay.
Yeah, no fires yet.
So I'm thinking if that's a big reconstruction job.
Yes. Yeah. They have,
reconstruction, is that even a word?
Oh, don't man. I don't
know. That's a big job.
It's a big one.
Reconstruction. I think. Fact check me.
Yeah, so Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, pull it up on the screen.
Jamie, pull it up.
Okay. That's cool. So if I'm trying to become an inspector, right? Maybe for experience to move up somewhere else, or that's like my sole goal is like, hey, I want to be an inspector. First question is there room to grow in the company you are? Obviously the company's trying to expand. Can somebody make it this career?
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. If you work for a larger company, it will pretty much be a career the second that you pass that exam.
Okay.
In my case, it's a little more of a risk because it is a smaller company, but yeah, it could absolutely be a career. I guess it already is. looking forward to another career.
You're just using it as a
stepping stone.
Because I don't want to because you are using it as a stepping stone. Somebody's like, well, maybe it's not worth to make it my job. But this was just wasn't your goal. This was one of the prereqs you just needed for something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how you've been here 6 months, but how fast can somebody grow in a bigger company, or can you support a family? And
it's really on a case by case basis. If you're a home inspector, you need to be able to catch everything. So some companies will take you out there with someone for 2 days, and as long as you pass that test and you're licensed, they'll say, hey, get out there and write up a report. And there are a lot of bad reports out there of people that clearly didn't get the training, but they're still making a living out of it. And like I said, most of these people are getting commission. So if you work for a larger company and you do 5 reports a day, and let's say 2 of those people sign on to do a job per day to fix their home, your guys are then going out there and fixing it, and you're getting commission on each job. So it's kind of how hard you work.
So you almost can't miss anything, because the more you find, the more you make.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But so it's kind of a good incentive, and you might say a bad incentive, because some people poke at something or whatever and say, oh, this is rotted wood. And really it's not a big deal, and they're trying to get money. Some people are really good and really trying to help people out, so it's tough.
So it depends on the moral aspect of the inspector.
Yeah, do your research before you have a home inspection on the company. And I get that. Reviews. Sounds terrible, but I guess it is kind of.
I mean, because you can find there's a bad apple everywhere. If there's a bad apple in the police department, why not in an inspection company?
Yeah. But it also is a good incentive in that it requires you to be thorough.
Right.
No,
I agree. Like, if I hire an inspector, I hope he's trying to find. I hope he has my interest. And so when he's walking, he's looking for every single thing that, like, hey, you're paying for this home.
Yeah,
you might as well have it in a good condition. Where you don't buy it and then you're investing all this money.
Yeah, it should be in both of your interests, because the inspector will get a good commission if they find that damage.
Yeah.
And the buyer wants to know that there is damage there, because they're going to have to deal with it in 10, 15 years.
Right.
So that's what makes it mutual. But you could debate.
Okay. So if I don't have a job yet as an inspector, or maybe I'm in high school or whatever.
Sure.
Can somebody like come and volunteer, walk with you, like, hey, call up your company, be like, hey, I'm looking to become a home inspector. Can I come and shadow somebody? Is that possible? How can someone expose themselves?
I'm sure they'd be thrilled. That might violate labor laws. I don't know.
Well, if you're not getting paid, you're not working.
Right. Yeah. But I'm sure they'd be thrilled. Like you said, not a lot of people probably know about this job.
Yeah.
And I haven't known any young person. I've done this work for I actually have over 2 years of experience. I did it throughout college as well.
Okay.
This is just I started with a new company.
Okay, gotcha.
But I never knew one young person in those 2 years, and we went through people. And
Wow, that's actually pretty cool. I'm like thinking of people already that I'm like, dude, you trying to get in construction, try like home inspector.
Yeah, you need to specialize in something. You can't be a laborer.
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
But only for so long.
Right. You should always use the labor position to get to another one.
Yeah.
And specialize in something. If you want to specialize in plumbing, electricity, and then or home inspecting. That's just another thing.
Right, home inspecting, and then just that's residential, and then the commercial side has so much more.
Yes,
like
I haven't delved into
like
that.
A huge variety. And I mean, and then there's OSHPA, Cal, like all these special inspectors. Because when you come in, obviously plumbing, electrical, and other things are specialty things. But then in commercial, there's welding inspector. Just the field just kind of expands after you introduce yourself to it.
Yeah, if you want to make money, work at a refinery. Be an inspector at a refinery. They make tons of money. Doctor, lawyer money. Just like, what's the guy that, the janitor.
The janitor?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, so this is cool. Kind of give a little shout out to inspecting. Something that used to be my dream in middle school. Wow.
That's hilarious. I still can't believe that. That makes no sense to me.
It doesn't either. Now I think about it, I have no idea like why I really chose inspector. But that was my goal, man. I still remember
it was a family friend and inspector.
I knew nobody. I didn't know
How
any.
did you know it existed? That's so weird.
I don't know, dude.
You saw it in a dream. You're
maybe that's a good question. I'm gonna have to like go back and look at that. I bet you in that binder it says why I chose this. I'm gonna go back and look into that. I still remember like my cover, big old magnifying glass with the guy like that was crazy, dude.
That sounds more like CSI. You're a CSI home inspector.
Are there any class? So like there's this. So you said you studied for 6 months. To become an
about
inspector.
3. I've been working there for 6 months.
Okay,
a little over.
So about 3 months.
Yeah.
Is there any class like or maybe a pamphlet someone can read about the class or about that course?
Yeah, the course, like I said, I was signed up for it through the company that I work for, but you can Google it. It's probably a couple $100.
Okay.
Take the course, kind of thing. But you'll make that back your first job. You know, it's not a huge investment. It's not $15,000 a semester. You know, kind of thing.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty easy.
That's the home inspector side, the government side. If someone is looking in political science, what are the different things that you can do with a political science degree?
Oh man, if I knew that, I would have a job in political science. No, I think the big one is go to law school.
Okay.
That a lot of people do. I didn't want to do that right now. I've been going to school for a while and working, and I'm like, I just want to work at least for a couple of years. Yeah. That's not out of the question.
Are you planning to go back to school?
I probably will one day. Okay. Yeah. Probably out of boredom. I'll be like, I want to learn something new. That's just how I just, how I've always been. Yeah. So other than law
in political
school,
science, is political science just strictly teaching you politics of the government, how the government runs?
How the government runs, yeah. It's a lot of law and how the government runs.
Okay.
A lot of essays, a lot of reading. Yeah, I'd say lawyer would be the big one.
Okay.
And then being a professor teaching it, obviously. But yeah, I think the main reason people go is to be a lawyer.
Okay, so it is a prereq for a lawyer degree. Because I've never heard like I'm trying to think political science, a political science job. I don't know any.
I don't know any either. That's why I loved that Sacramento State called it government. I was like, oh, that's a better name for it. We're teaching you about government, not political science, whatever that may be. It's a lot of statistics too, I guess. There is some science. You use SPSS, which is a statistical analysis software, kind of, so you can plug different data points in. You can say, oh, how many people above 45 smoked cigarettes and voted Republican or whatever. You can put a bunch of different variables in and find trends.
So political science then isn't, or government is not like, it doesn't seclude like a construction department or a science department per se. It's just a more broad thing, teaches you about government, and then you choose your specialty. Yeah,
so you could do international relations. But that's why I like that they called it government. Exactly, because it's just about how our country works. Really.
Okay. So going into this government degree, you should probably come in with an understanding, like, okay, my goal is to work for the government, but in a specific department. Kind of like you're now going into a more specific, like a construction, emergency, renovation type.
Yeah, I mean, I guess whatever piques your interest, it will take time to figure that out. At least it did for me. But I wouldn't even say that you have to narrow it down while you're in school. You can have experiences after school.
Okay,
just
see where it leads you.
Change your mind. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's just how I go about it.
No, that's awesome. Nice and easy. I think that's a wrap for me, Nate.
Cool.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for answering. Thank you for teaching me. I think I learned the most here.
Let's do that reverse interview sometime.
Okay,
Let's do it. Yeah.
We could do it now.
Okay.